The morning air is crisp and unseasonably cool as I pull my rental car into the driveway several days ahead of schedule. Officially, I am in the midst of a week-long business trip in another state, an alibi provided unknowingly by my boss who believes I am scouting potential expansion sites. Unofficially, I am about to confirm the growing suspicions that have haunted me for months. My heart races as I kill the engine and sit for a moment, watching the stillness of the house I've called home for the past 7 years. The drapes are drawn tight, a barrier to the prying eyes of the world, just as my wife, Jenna, has drawn a veil over our marriage with her secrets. I take a deep breath and step out of the car, my footsteps silent on the dew-covered lawn as I approach the front door. It's unlocked. I'm not surprised. Jenna always was careless with security, a trait that now plays to my advantage. Inside, the house is silent, but the details speak volumes. A pair of unfamiliar men's shoes lies carelessly discarded by the sofa. A bottle of expensive champagne, one I've never liked, rests on the coffee table alongside 2 glasses, one still with the imprint of a bold lipstick mark, definitely not Jenna's usual shade. My pulse quickens as I ascend the staircase, each step echoing ominously in the hollow space of my chest. The door to our bedroom is ajar, a sliver of morning light cutting through the dimness within. I push it open, and the scene before me confirms my worst fears. Jenna and a man, her AP, as the text had coldly abbreviated, are tangled in the sheets of our bed. The betrayal stings, fresh and raw, but I've come prepared for this moment, not just with confrontation, but with a declaration. "Good morning," I announce, my voice steady despite the tempest raging inside me. Jenna bolts upright, the color draining from her face as her eyes meet mine. "Darling, aren't you supposed to be on a business trip?" she stammers, her voice a mix of confusion and fear. Her companion stirs, confusion etched on his features as he clumsily untangles himself from the sheets. He's younger than me, with a build that suggests he spends more time in the gym than at any job. He lunges toward me, perhaps mistaking the situation for a typical jealous husband attack, but I am neither typical nor merely jealous. I smile, the calm before the storm, and pull out the gun I had tucked away in my jacket. "You have 2 hours to gather all your things and leave my house," I say, my voice calm and resolute. Jenna's eyes widen, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water. The man stops, his posture deflating as he realizes the seriousness of the situation. He nods slowly, his earlier bravado evaporating into the cool morning air. As I watch him scramble to dress and pack, a part of me mourns the loss of what we had. The love and trust now shattered beyond repair. But another part of me, the part that had driven all night, the part that had planned every moment of this confrontation, feels a grim satisfaction. I had come seeking the truth, and now, with the truth laid bare before me, I am ready to face whatever comes next. This is just the beginning, I remind myself. The real challenge starts now. How to rebuild from these ruins, how to navigate the stormy waters of divorce, and most importantly, how to protect myself from further betrayal. All these questions linger in the air, heavy and unanswered. But for now, I watch as my cheating wife and her lover disappear into the morning, my house eerily silent once more, the echo of their departure a solemn reminder of the new reality I must face. After Jenna and her paramour leave, the house feels cavernous, the silence echoing off the walls like a taunt. I stand in the midst of the living room, trying to process the morning's events. The stillness is soon shattered by the unexpected sound of my cell phone ringing. The caller ID flashes Rick, my longtime friend and occasional confidant. "Hey, Rick," I answer, my voice a shade firmer than I feel. "Mike, I heard your car in the drive. Thought you were out of town till next week," Rick says, his voice filled with a mix of concern and surprise. "Yeah, change of plans," I reply, glancing around the room as if the walls might offer some support. "Can you come over? I need some advice." "Sure thing, buddy. Give me 10 minutes." Rick arrives quicker than promised, his expression a mixture of curiosity and concern as he steps into the chaos. I lead him through the house, explaining the morning's confrontation. His face hardens with each detail, the loyalty of a lifelong friend radiating in his stance. "What are you going to do now?" he asks as we sit down at the kitchen table, strewn with the remnants of my hastily made coffee. "I'm not sure yet, but I need to figure out everything. Finances, the house, the whole mess. You need a lawyer, Mike, and maybe a private investigator. If she's been doing this for a while, who knows what else you might uncover?" I nod, the idea settling in with a weight I'm not entirely prepared for. "You might be right. But first, I want to know how deep this goes. Was it just him? Or are there more?" Rick claps a hand on my shoulder. "Let me help. I've got a cousin who's a PI. He's discreet and thorough. He can dig up whatever you need to know." "Thanks, Rick. I appreciate it," I say, feeling the first threads of a plan weave together in my mind. We spend the next hour devising a strategy. Rick's cousin, Tom, agrees to meet us later that afternoon. As Rick leaves to make arrangements, another unexpected visitor arrives at my door. It's Jenna's best friend, Lisa, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and curiosity. "Mike, is Jenna here?" she asks, stepping just inside the doorway, her gaze darting around the room as if expecting to find Jenna hiding. "No, she left," I respond, the bitterness seeping through my carefully neutral tone. "Left? Left where?" Lisa's voice pitches higher, her anxiety palpable. "I caught her cheating, Lisa, in our bed. I told her to leave." I say, the words tasting sour on my tongue. Lisa gasps, her hand flying to her mouth. "Oh, Mike, I had no idea." "Did you really not know?" My question hangs between us, heavy with accusation. Lisa looks down, her fingers nervously twisting her wedding ring. I suspected something was off, but Jenna swore it was nothing. I didn't think she'd ever go this far. Her admission stirs a mix of anger and pity inside me. Well, she did. Lisa's eyes meet mine, filled with tears. "What are you going to do?" "I'm figuring that out. Right now, I'm going to find out everything I can about her and everything." Lisa nods, wiping away a tear. "If there's anything I can do to help." "Actually, there might be." "Sit down, Lisa. We need to talk." As she takes a seat, I begin to outline my plan, involving her more deeply than she might have expected. As the afternoon sun begins to wane, my house, once a symbol of my marital bliss, transforms into a command center for what promises to be a long and revealing battle. Lisa sits across from me, her features etched with concern and regret. "Mike, I want to help, really, but what can I do? I'm just Jenna's friend. You know her better than anyone," I say firmly, trying to instill a sense of purpose in her. "You know who she talks to, where she goes. That's where you come in." Lisa nods slowly, her resolve building. "Okay, what do you need?" "First, I need names and places. Any friends she's been seeing more often, any new places she's been hanging out at without me," I instruct, my tone clinical, detached, necessary for the task at hand. Lisa pulls out her phone, scrolling through it nervously. There's this new group she's been hanging out with from her yoga class, and then there's that bar downtown, the Hidden Cove. She's been going there a lot. Could start there. "Anything unusual you can remember can help," I say, noting down everything. The doorbell rings, cutting through our conversation like a sharp blade. I glance at the clock. It's time for my meeting with Tom, Rick's cousin, and the private investigator. I usher Lisa into the dining room for privacy and open the front door. Tom extends his hand, his grip firm and his demeanor all business. "Mike, Rick told me a bit about your situation. Let's see how I can help." We settle in the living room, and I brief him on everything, from Jenna's infidelity to the morning's confrontation. Tom listens, his expression unreadable, jotting down notes in a small pad. "Based on what you've told me, We'll start with surveillance on the places Lisa mentioned. I can also do a deep dive into her financials. See if there's anything out of the ordinary, Tom suggests, his voice calm and reassuring. Let's do it. Whatever it takes, I respond, the gravity of the situation settling in. Tom nods and stands, ready to start immediately. I'll keep you updated with everything I find. Discretion is key here. As Tom leaves, Lisa reappears, looking pale but determined. Mike, there's something else. Last week, Jenna mentioned a trip she planned months ago. Something about a weekend getaway, but she was vague about the details. Did she mention who she was going with? I ask, a new lead sparking interest. No, but she's been secretive about her phone lately. Maybe there's something there, Lisa hints. We need to get her phone then, I say, more to myself than to Lisa. The rest of the day is a blur of phone calls and planning. As evening falls, I sit alone, the house quiet around me. My phone vibrates with an update from Tom. Started surveillance at the hidden cove. Will monitor who she meets. Checking her financials next. I reply with a brief acknowledgement, my mind racing. This is just the beginning, I remind myself. The real work starts now. As the night deepens, the weight of my actions and decisions presses down on me. In seeking the truth, I've set in motion events that cannot be undone. I brace myself for what's to come, knowing that each step forward is a step further into the unknown. Night has fallen, and the stark shadows cast by the moonlight through the blinds of my home office seem to underscore the gravity of my situation. I've been sitting here for hours, piecing together every scrap of information Tom and Lisa have gathered. When my phone buzzes, it's Tom, and his message is terse. Need to meet. Big update. Minutes later, I'm pulling into the dimly lit parking lot of a nearby diner, where Tom said he would wait. I spot him in a corner booth, a manila envelope thick with documents on the table in front of him. Mike, he greets, his voice low as I slide into the booth opposite him. What did you find? I ask, my voice tense. Tom slides the envelope across to me, took a deep dive into her financials, and followed up on the yoga group. Turns out, Jenna's been funneling money into a private account. Lots of cash withdrawals, too. I sift through the documents, my heart sinking with each line I read. And the yoga group. They're clean, mostly. But I tracked Jenna to a private club downtown, the Gilded Lily. It's exclusive, very secretive. That's where the money's going. A private club. I frown. Why? That's not all. Tom hesitates, then continues. I followed her there last night. She met with someone. Looked like a business meeting. Business? What kind of business does Jenna have there? I press, confused and increasingly anxious. Tom leans in, lowering his voice even more. That's the part you're not going to like. The man she met with. It's Daniel Reese, your business partner. My stomach churns. Daniel? What does he have to do with Jenna? I don't know the full extent yet, but it looks like they're planning something big, and it's not just a personal affair. I sit back, stunned. The betrayal now twofold. My wife and my business partner. Feels like a physical blow. What do? We get more proof. We need to know what they're planning. Tom's determination mirrors my own. The next few days are a blur of surveillance and clandestine meetings. Lisa, too, proves invaluable, her guilt over her initial ignorance, fueling her efforts to help uncover the truth. Finally, we have enough to confront them. I arrange a meeting under the pretense of discussing new business strategies, inviting both Jenna and Daniel. They arrive at my office, unaware of each other's invitations until they see one another. Confusion registers on their faces. Mike, what's this about? Daniel asks, cautious. I throw down photos of them together at the Gilded Lily, alongside bank statements and other damning evidence. You tell me, I say coldly. Jenna goes pale, her eyes darting between the photos and me. Daniel's composure cracks, his usual smooth demeanor faltering. It's not what it looks like, Mike, Jenna starts, but I cut her off. Save it. I know about the money and the meetings. I know everything. Daniel steps forward, trying to salvage the situation. Mike, it's business. We were going to bring you in, eventually. By stealing from me and going behind my back. My voice is icy. Jenna breaks down, sobbing. I'm sorry, Mike. It started as a way to build something of my own. It got out of hand. Tom steps into the office, nodding to me. Got all that recorded. The shock on Jenna and Daniel's faces tells me they realize the game is up. As they scramble to explain, to beg for my forgiveness, I feel a weight lift off my shoulders. Knowing the truth, as painful as it is, frees me from the lies that had shackled my heart and my future. In the end, Jenna and Daniel leave my office and my life for good. The betrayal is deep, but it opens the door to new beginnings. As I watch them go, I'm already thinking of how to rebuild, not just my business, but my trust in those around me. And as for Tom and Lisa, their loyalty assures me that not all is lost. In the depths of deception, I found true allies, and with them, I step into a future filled with genuine possibilities. Thanks to everyone who took the time to listen to today's stories. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share your thoughts on the events in the comments below. Take care.